Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and I have been eager to sit down and to chat with you one-to-one. And maybe you're like, hey, Jess, where's that speaker announcement? Come on, I've been waiting. And maybe you already have your ticket to speak up, and you're just so excited to hear who the speakers are. Or maybe you're waiting to hear who the speakers are before you get your ticket. And I totally understand whatever feels best for you. But today I'm putting a pause on the speaker announcements because I really wanted to sit down and chat with you about a couple of really cool things. And before I dive into it, I wanted to share. So I was just pulling a card right before I hopped on the mic, especially when I'm coming here to sit by myself. I know you're here and you're listening to this and you're on the other side, but when I'm recording this, I'm at home in my confidence corner, essentially by myself, and I have to picture you on the other side. And sometimes I look for signs, I look for things throughout the day to help me to connect with you, but also to connect with what you need to hear today. And that just might sound like the craziest thing you've ever heard, but I have found it to be like so beneficial for this podcast to be intuitive to what I need to talk about. And oftentimes what I'm going through, someone else feels really connected with too. And I have been going through some blocks lately, some things that I've been really trying to step through, to step into my power, to be the version of me that I see, that version of me on the stage at Speak Up, that's hosting this event that feels, I don't even know what the word is. It's just about being authentically myself, even in a place that has a lot of eyes on me. Like, I want to be me. That's simply it. And at this event, I've been challenged more and more as I plan things, as we look for sponsorships, as we share speakers, as we, finalize details and event details and all of these things. It's like I have to stretch myself a little bit more to feel confident and even comfortable to be the person to host this kind of event. Maybe you're like, Jess, like I can easily see you up there. I can easily, see you as someone who's going to create this magical event. And I know that it's going to be so incredible, but I also understand that I have to work on myself in order to get to that place that feels comfortable and confident hosting an event like this for 200 plus women. And so I was pulling a card, and the card that I pulled today is the Expect Miracles card. It's the Holy Spirit card. And I thought it'd be really cool to tell you that was the card that I picked today, in case maybe you're listening to this right now and you need a miracle. And I feel emotional as I say that because that means there's someone listening to this who needs a miracle. You need something in your life right now to just like magically happen. And I truly do believe this card's for you. So I just wanted to share that with you before we got started. It says here, remember that the only love is real. Remember that miracles will occur naturally and spirit has your back. So just know that you are totally taken care of and that, miracles can happen. So as we get into today's topic, I guess before we get into today's topic, I'm going to be all over the place. I'm just telling you because there's so many things that I have just been eagerly waiting to sit down and talk to you about. Obviously, we just got home not that long ago from Barbados retreat. If you're following on social media, I brought 8 women down to Barbados with me. My first time returning there since living there in 2020 and 2021. And it was absolutely magical. Absolutely magical. Every single day had a lesson, it had beauty, it had love, and it flowed so nicely. And one of the things that I really noticed was that allowing women space to do whatever they want and less structure, less strictness, less rigidness that we seem to have in our everyday life. Oh my gosh. The magic, the ideas, the conversations, everything flowed so beautifully when we had space. And it was just a really, really incredible week. Another one of those stretchy moments in my life that I didn't know if I could do. I had booked it over a year ago and I was like, well, we're going to do it. It sold out in a week and a half. And I was like, well, I guess we're doing this. But I had a year to kind of stretch myself into the version of myself that again felt confident and comfortable hosting a retreat for a week. I have done retreats before that they've been weekend retreats, but this was totally different. And I just didn't know if I could entertain people for that long, teach people for that long, could hold space for people energetically myself. I often think that I have limited energy, but I just got to tell you, like, a whole week was actually better than a weekend retreat because we had time to integrate things, talk about things, and, make plans and figure things out together. And it felt less rushed. My weekend retreats can be busy. If you've been to one, they can be busy because I want to make the most of our time together. But by having a week, we were able to just space things out so well and do different activities and just have so much fun with it. And now I'm like, okay, I can do that. Sometimes we need that belief, right? Whether that's from someone else or from ourselves, or it's from doing something, we get that confidence, we get that belief. Well, Barbados Retreat was one of those things that just helped me to step into that power a bit more, to realize, okay, I can do this, to the point where it was so well laid out that the girl said I should make it into a guide to sell to people. And maybe they were just being nice, but honestly, I feel like the way it all flowed, the way I laid out the tours, the way that we had our dinner time and different activities and space to do things and space to be together, but space to be apart. And sometimes I can have some rules with some of these. We didn't really have to enforce any rules, which was really nice. And it just felt beyond perfect. So if you are like, okay, Jess, I'm sold. I want to come to one of your retreats. This sounds amazing. I don't know when the next one is, okay? Normally, I'm one of those people who it's like, I have a plan before the next event even comes. Like, I have 2025 speak up, thinking about it before even 2024 has happened. But this is the first time that I'm allowing myself some space to also figure out and see and focus on what I need to focus on, which is, of course, Speak Up, the event, and the Selfish Sisterhood. If you're a part of that, every month we have workshops and we have activities and we have chats and things like that. And sometimes we just need some space to focus on what we need to focus on. But if you're like, I want to be the first to know when the next retreat is, because there will be one, I am going to put the information in the show notes for you to join the wait list for the next retreat. I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. Even if we don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I have some ideas and I've reached out to some places, but we don't have details and we don't have dates. So I don't want to get your hopes up, but it's going to be pretty epic is all I got to say. So I hope that I will see you at the next retreat and that we can have some space to hang out and really just get to know each other on a deeper level, because that's what I love about these retreats. And then in other news, I have so many things to update you on. I promise. I have a lesson that I really, really, really want to share with you today, but I just got a lot of things to share before then. But this one is big. This one is really exciting. And I said I didn't have a speaker announcement today because I don't know who the next speaker is. And that's because the next speaker is the Sisterhood panel. So I'm going to be having a panel at this event. I was recently invited to an event to speak on a panel last year in October. And having that platform in front of a bunch of strangers was one of the most beautiful things, because I could 100% be myself. When you are on a stage, it can be scary. But when you're in a room where nobody judges you and everybody loves you and they just want to know about what you're doing, it is the most beautiful thing. And honestly, with this event being all about using your voice, speaking up, and being truly yourself and stepping into your authentic power, I couldn't not have an opportunity for you to apply to be on this stage. For some of you, when I say that, you're just like, your chest tightened a little bit and you're like, oh gosh. But for others, maybe you're like me and you love being on a stage and you're just like, heck yeah, tell me, how do I apply? I am so excited. So I'll be choosing 4 to 5 women to speak on this sisterhood panel happening at the Speak Up event, October 5th and 6th. So it'll be on the full day event on the 6th. And we are going to have a variety of different people from all different backgrounds, all different ways of living, whether that's business, motherhood, hobbies, whatever it could be. It could be so many different things. This panel is all about sharing your authentic truth and sharing your story in a way that's going to empower other people to stand in their power and to stand in their truth. So here's how you apply. All you have to do is have your Speak Up ticket. You have to have your ticket already in order to apply to speak on the panel, okay? So I will put that information for you to be able to grab your ticket so that you can apply for this. I'll have an application in the show notes that you can click so that you can fill out all the information, and then you're going to take a 90-second video clip and you'll upload it to your Google Drive or wherever you want to host it. And then you'll copy and paste that link into the application so that I can check out your video. In this video, you're going to share with me your story. Tell me a bit about you. What helps you to stand out in this world? And what have you been doing to figure out who you are, that authentic self, and stepping into speaking it up in so many different ways in your life? And again, this isn't saying you have to be a public speaker to be on this panel. I want people from all different backgrounds. I want you to stand in your power and to use your voice and to apply for this. I think even stepping up to apply and to speak up, even in this way of maybe I'm the only one who sees this video, and that's perfectly okay too. I feel like it's going to give me an opportunity to get to know every single one of you before we even go to the event, which I'm just so excited for. Like, what a gift is it for me to be able to even learn a little bit about your story in 90 seconds. So you will have your ticket, submit the application form that you're going to find in the show notes here, and you're going to submit it with a 90-second video talking about your story and how you stepped into your authenticity, how you stepped into your power to use your voice and speak up. And if you're as excited as I am and you're just like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this, applications are due by June 15th, okay? So you have a couple weeks to put this into place, to get your video all ready and to send it over, and then we'll be reviewing them and announcing the speakers by the end of June. Okay, I am just so excited that I even can create an opportunity like this for someone to be able to stand up and to use their voice. Like, I know it's going to be absolutely magical, and I just can't freaking wait. So grab your ticket, submit your application by June 15th, and then you might be speaking on the stage at Speak Up. So freaking amazing. Okay. Now let's get into the meat of today's episode, what I have been really thinking about a lot lately. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, some of those blocks that I've been having that I have had to swim through in order to step into the version of myself that feels comfortable and calm being on that stage in front of you at Speak Up. And this can go in so many different areas of our life. It's not just about this event. It could be, someone who feels calm and confident before they become a parent. Or maybe it's someone who feels calm and confident before they apply for a job that they've had their heart on for a while. Or maybe it's even feeling calm and confident before you ask that person out on a date. It can be so many different things. And I don't even know why I'm thinking of it being as calm, because I am a girly with anxiety. Calm doesn't come naturally to me. And maybe that's why I've been really having to step into this a little bit more. It's almost like I hear this whisper again. I've talked about this whisper that I have, splenic authority in human design. And it's like this whisper is telling me these lessons, these things that I need to work through, these things that I need to learn and step into before I can really feel confident in who I am. And maybe you feel that way too. Maybe it's a particular area in your life. Maybe it is, everywhere in your life. And you're just like, I would love to feel confident even in one spot, Jess. That'd be great right now. And what I've been learning as I'm starting to swim through these blocks more and more and more is that there is a lot of layers to them. And even once we think that we have made it to that point, I used to think this I still think this, okay, I made it through. I am there. We're good. We did the work. Period. I don't need to do any more. We got this. And then another layer comes off and you're just like, damn it. I really thought that I made it. I really thought that I worked through this. But here's the thing. These things keep coming back up in your life, or maybe it's a new thing. These things in general keep coming back into your life because we need to learn this lesson. No matter what our ego tells us, no matter what we think, we think we've done the work. We've stepped beyond this. We are better than this thing, right? But the truth is, it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up because it's not dealt with yet. And that's actually a tough lesson to learn. We think that we're beyond things or even above things, right? Like, I am above these petty little things that I've been working on for years. But you're not. You're a work in progress. A beautiful, incredible, wonderful work in progress. There's nothing wrong with being a work in progress. And I know someone's going to come at me and be like, okay, I don't always have to be working on myself, Jess. And I truly do believe that too. You don't always have to be working on yourself. But imagine a life where you're at the top, where you've made it. You've learned all the lessons you're going to learn. And you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, I did it all. I can just coast now. That sounds really freaking boring to me. Being perfect? No, thank you. I just don't see a life where that is possible. Because I know for me, I just keep stretching. So when I think I've made it, I've just stretched my limit a little bit more. And then I gotta go to the next level. And then the next level. It's like freaking Donkey Kong, okay? And we are just rolling through the levels today. And getting to the end and beating the boss in my head is death. And that sounds really morbid. But it can also be a really beautiful thing. You did all the things. You beat all the levels. You lived your freaking life. And now you're here with the boss. And you beat him too. Like, you did it all. And I really think if we can lean into that energy of living life fully and doing it all and being a work in progress as part of the journey, it doesn't feel that negative. It doesn't feel that bad. It actually feels like a really cool gift to be able to step into our power every single day. And if you're like me and these roadblocks have been coming and hitting you hard, like a ton of bricks, and I know, again, it's because we're stretching and we're stepping outside of that comfort zone to become a newer version of us, there's a few things that you can do to make this process a little bit easier for you. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be your 24/7 job to work on yourself. But if you're pushing forward and taking those steps, there's a few things that I'm learning to be really, really helpful. And that first one being to make space. Like I talked about with the Barbados retreat, space was like the best part of the retreat. So we would have time in the morning, a confidence circle of some kind. We'd probably eat breakfast, and we would have like a good chunk of the afternoon totally open until dinner time. There was a couple days that we had tours or we might have had something else going on, but I really tried to have space in the afternoon for you to be able to do whatever you want. And we come from lives that are go, 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 go all the time. And if you're someone who has kids, I can only imagine that being 10 times worse with full-time jobs, with businesses, with side hustles, with, all of the things that we have to do in a day. It's hard for us to even find a small space to work on our hobbies or to do something fun or to take the dog for a walk. It can be so difficult for us to find these self-care pockets. So at the retreat, I wanted to make it like non-negotiable. You had time. And so some of the girls went to go do surfing lessons or to go check out the cafe and do the blush lattes that I posted about so many times when I was away, or to just lay in a lounger and read, or to do belly flop contests, or to get a noodle and sit out in the ocean, or to go check out the turtles, or you could do literally anything. And imagine you had an afternoon in Barbados or at home, wherever you are, to do whatever you wanted. What would you do with it? If you had more space in your life, what would you do with it? And I've talked about this several times of this goal I have to be able to build a business in less hours in the week, because I want to be able to be present in my life and to do the things that I want to do and to also rest and to have hobbies and to have energy to host these kinds of events. I can't do that if I'm going all the freaking time. And so I've really been leaning into this space in my calendar, a little extra white space, and peace in my life. But one of the things that I've always really struggled with this is that I never really had a life outside of business. I don't really have hobbies. I don't have kids. And so I really didn't know what to do with this extra time. And that's been a belief of mine too. Like time and money are interconnected, and they're not. They're not at all. It doesn't have to be, I worked this much, therefore I make this much. And I'm really trying to break through that. That is a wall I am like trying to take apart every single day. And same thing with having space in my calendar. What am I going to do with it? If I don't have hobbies outside of walking my dog or doing selfish socials, what am I going to do with this time? And I've been really trying to figure out, if I had space, and I do have space in my calendar, when I have space, what do I want to do with it? What's the dream afternoon? It's so beautiful. We're coming into summer. The sun is out. What do you want to do with that time? Maybe write it on a piece of paper and keep it close by, because I bet there's going to be a day coming up real soon, even if it's on a weekend, that you might have a little extra space in your calendar. Maybe you're dropping one of the kids off at a birthday party and you have a couple hours to yourself. What are you going to do with it? Are you really going to use that time to go grocery shopping? Are you really going to use that time to go do chores at the house? No, I want you to use it for you. So make space in your life. Because when you make space, that's when ideas come. That's when, you start to get to know yourself more. That's when you start to expand. That's when you start to hear more of these limiting beliefs and these roadblocks that you're having. You can't always see them when you don't have any space. If you are going all the freaking time, these messages, these roadblocks, these things that are holding you back so hard can't come through. So allow yourself some space to really start to step into that confidence a bit more. And I think the world just keeps telling us that the more we do, the more worthy we'll be, or the more we do, the more we'll have. And I'm just like done with that narrative, okay? So I'm all about creating space, making space for ourselves, space for family time, space for what's important to you, and really just seeing what happens when we do that. And you know what? Worst comes to worst. You make some space for yourself. You don't like it, whatever. Go back to your go, go, go life. I don't care. This is your life. But I do challenge you to try and see what space could feel like for you. The second piece that I have on my list that really can help you to step into that confident self, that comfortable, that calm, confident self in this season of your life right now is to find a mirror. And I do not mean an actual mirror like the one in your bathroom, which maybe it can be, okay? Maybe it can be. But I mean, find a person who can mirror back to you some of these things in your life that you don't even notice in yourself. That has been a huge one for me. Having mentors, having friends, having people who can call me out on my stuff. And not even just in like a mean way, but in a really beautiful way. Being like, hey, Jess, I noticed you've been procrastinating quite a bit on this thing. Why do you think that is? It's never from a malicious place. And you can see those things in yourself sometimes, but the best thing you can do is to find those people that can mirror back to you. Like one of the best ones for me was to have a coach, to have a mentor that could see me and could see me regularly so that they could kind of help to like savor through some of these things that I've been telling myself. Again, we tell ourselves we're okay, or we tell ourselves that, we got past that. I did that so long ago. I am a way better version of Jess now. But then that lesson keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. It's because you didn't actually deal with it. Somebody on the outside can see that. And if you are ready to actually see yourself and actually see some of these things that have been stumbling in your life, get someone to mirror for you. This could be your best friend. This could be a parent. This could be someone you trust deeply. Make sure it's someone that you do trust to see you, to truly see you, and that you can actually listen when they say things. There are people in my life that when they say things, I want to roll my eyes, okay? And then there are people in my life when they say things, and it may be the exact same thing, but I hear it. Find the people that you will listen to. And it's not even like one person is better than the other. or one person I respect more than the other. It's not. It's just about context and delivery and who I want to be seen by. Sometimes when someone sees you in that light, you're just like, who do you think you are? Telling me about my stuff. Let me tell you about your stuff. No. Find a person who you do not feel judged by to tell you these things, okay? So that you can go into it full transparency. And really, like, some of the best people for this, I find, are coaches, whether that's a friend of mine who's a coach or hiring a coach. Because especially when you put money down for it, it's like, I want you to tell me what I need to do. I want you to tell me what I need in order to get to that version of me or in order to do those things. It doesn't always come as clear from people who we don't have that same, I want to say respect for, but it's not that I don't respect them. It's just I don't always want to hear that from them. And I know you can think of exactly who you're thinking of. For me, sometimes it's my husband. He's listening to this. I know he is. I love you, Glenn. But I don't always want to hear what I'm doing wrong. So that's why it can be really frustrating from certain people. But it's so important that you find the people that you're willing to hear it from. Okay? And the last thing I have on my list is allowing yourself enough time. If we go back to the beginning, when I gave myself a year, the year of confidence, that was transformational in my life in so many ways. One, because I was taking action, and two, because I gave myself enough time. It wasn't like confidence in 21 days. That's not a thing. Or confidence in a day, whatever it is. That's not a thing. We need enough time. And even when I came to the end of that year, I needed more time. We're 3 years into this business. Like, actually, not even 3 years. And I'm figuring this stuff out every single day. We'll be celebrating 3 years of the podcast in October at Speak Up. And that is when I started my business. So we're like 2.5 years in. I'm still figuring things out. I'm working through ideas. I'm really stepping into my power, and I'm allowing myself the space and the time to do that. If you expect that you're going to get things done in 21 days, or you're going to get things done in however amount of time you're giving yourself, typically it's not enough time. I want you to double that. How much time do you think you need? Okay, let's double that. Let's allow ourselves extra space. This is not Amazon Prime. We do not have to go as fast as we can go. Fast results are not sustainable. So if we can give ourselves the space to really step into our confidence every single day for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever that is, you're really going to start to see sustainable results, and you're really going to start to see yourself in a new light. I think that's the best thing about this journey, is that it takes the pressure off. When you give yourself more time, it takes the pressure off having to have things done. Again, I'm a procrastinator. Okay, we know that. Sometimes these things can be really hard for me to push through and to get things done in certain timelines. So I like to allow myself more time. There's a reason I started planning Speak Up in late of 2023 when the event wasn't until 2024. And there's a reason we're looking at 2025 now. I need more time for these things. I don't like things to be rushed. I don't like things to be in a time crunch or to be extra stressful and pressureful. I want it to be ease and flow and full of life and love and energy and creativity. And that can only come with more time. I know there's someone listening to this right now and you're like, I work really well under pressure. I love that for you. I'm the opposite. I need just a little bit more space and flow. And so I would challenge you to give yourself enough time and see what comes out. And if you're still a person who's going to wait until the last minute, the night before the event, to put it all together, you do you. I love that for you. But still allow yourself some extra time to think of ideas, to feel things out, and to really step into what it is that you want. So if you're really looking to unplug some of these things that you've been feeling are coming up more and more and more. Maybe there's one lesson in particular that you can think of right now that you're just like, yep, that's the one. That's the one that's been nagging at me for a while. That's the one that I feel like I really want to learn and I'm struggling to learn it. Put a couple of these things into place. Make some space anywhere in your life. Maybe it's an afternoon, maybe it's a weekend away, maybe it's a selfish retreat. Find space in your schedule and just do whatever it is that you want. Finish the garden, go to the zoo, paint a painting, whatever you want to do. Read a book in the sun, that's my choice. And really just allow yourself that space. The best thing you can do for your ideas is give them space to grow, okay? And so the next thing is, again, find that mirror. Again, could be a physical mirror. If you want to look in the mirror and talk to yourself, you do you. But I think it's important for you to find someone that you trust, that can be the mirror for you and that can be honest with you about what you need to hear. Make sure it's someone that you feel like you'll actually listen to them when they say something. And I don't mean that to be rude to certain people. I just want you to make sure that the person you're picking for this is the right person for this mirror role, okay? Because anyone can be a mirror, but it takes the right person to say the right thing to you to really nail it in on what you need right now. And last thing is to allow yourself enough time. Give it 2, 3, 4, 5 years, okay? It doesn't have to be the fastest. There is no race for your goal or whatever it is that you are thinking about right now. There is no race for your confidence. The longer the span is of your year of confidence or whatever it is that you're creating, the better and more sustainable it's going to be. So allow yourself even more time. I know we want things fast. I do too. I do too, all the time. But it's so much better if we give it the right space. Think of it as like a homemade loaf of bread. Oh man, anything better than a homemade loaf of bread. But that stuff takes time. It takes time for us to put it together, to buy the ingredients, to put it in your bread maker, or if you're making it by hand, to put all the ingredients together, to let it rise, to put it in the oven, to allow it to cool, to put butter on it, to enjoy the piece of bread, versus buying the piece of bread in the store, buying a loaf of regular bread in the store. We all know that that homemade bread is going to be 10 times better than that loaf that we just bought off the shelf. We know that. Is it worth the wait? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the energy for you to put that fresh homemade loaf of bread out into the life? I think it is. You are the fresh homemade loaf of bread girl, okay? You are worth the time and worth the energy and worth the effort to create the most confident version of yourself. So allow yourself the time, allow yourself the space, and really find those mirrors in your life that are going to help to bring that out. And I promise you, if you do these things, it will be faster than you expect. It's not going to take 5 years, okay? But if you allow yourself more time, you won't be disappointed if it takes the full year that you need. So lean into your power. I am just so grateful that you choose to be here, that you choose to spend time with me and to really lean into yourself. Because you're a gift. Like 100% wholeheartedly, you are a gift on this planet. So you might as well start to see it. I see it in you. And I'm just so thankful that you take the time to show the world even just a little bit of your sparkle and a little bit of your magic. And if you're ready and you're just like, okay, I'm ready to show you, Jess, I got some sparkles in me, submit your application, grab your ticket, submit your application to speak on the panel at Speak Up, because we need to hear your voice and we need to hear your story. And I just can't wait to watch your video. So I'll put all the information for you in the show notes. I hope you have a wonderful week and stay tuned because more speaker announcements are coming.
What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.